Okay, so in today's rig clinic, probably a pretty basic one for people, and that is hook sharpening. Now, some people seem to kind of swear by it, others just feel like out of the packet is sharp enough. But for me, I think it's probably one of the biggest edges to my kind of fishing armoury is making sure those hooks are kind of super sharp. Now, I'll go through kind of how I go about sharpening hooks in a second. But just one thing to mention is, I think when people think about hook sharpening, they think about just getting that point sticky sharp, as people refer to. My kind of train of thought is more something that I picked up from an Adam Penning video, where that is important, and I think it's definitely important to have a super sharp point in the hook, but it's also about kind of reducing the amount of metal on that point, so kind of shaving it down by about a third, just so there's less resistance when that hook goes into a carp's mouth. And when you think of hooks like Korda's Kavakoras, they are kind of pretty much that, aren't they? They're a pinpoint, like needle type hook point, so there's less resistance when it goes into a carp's mouth. But that's kind of like my thought process on it, and so I'll show you now how I go about sharpening the hooks. Okay folks, so hook sharpening. Things I tend to use, obviously, is your choice of hook pattern. I've got here the ESP Cryogen trig hammers. If you've not given these a try, I strongly recommend them. They're kind of like a straight pointed long shanked hook. I've been using them for a good few years now. Made hook holds on them. Yeah, they're pretty much bulletproof, so if you've not tried them, give them a try. A hook vise, I use the Jag one. Pretty much kind of gone all in on the Jag front when it comes to hook sharpening, but it's really important you've kind of got a vise that can secure the hook. There's other options available though. A file, that's going to help you take metal off the hook. Polishing stone, again I've got the red one here from Jag. This just helps you kind of touch up that hook point when you've kind of got it almost there. A Jag kind of magnifying eye lens thing. I see quite a few people kind of just sharpening by eye, but this thing really does make a difference. What you get to see looking through the magnifier is kind of really important, and you can see just kind of whether or not you've got more metal to take off, or whether or not you've actually taken too much off and you've weakened the hook point. So definitely recommend getting yourself a magnifier. And then finally, probably a controversial one for quite a lot of people, is the Korda Kamako. Now, I found this laying around on the bankside one day, so I haven't actually paid the extortionate amount that Korda charges for this. But actually, it is really, really good, I think. It's, I've not kind of come across any issues with it kind of affecting bites. I don't think fish are put off by it at all. I definitely think it's kind of helped protect the hook point, but there's other options available. People use Vaseline, some people kind of use the grease from behind the nose, some people use touch-up pens, whatever is kind of your kind of personal preference, I guess. But I definitely recommend protecting that hook point after it's been sharpened. Okay, so let's get into hook sharpening itself. So first things first, take your hook and pop it into the vise. Now, you'll probably get a little bit confused by me doing this video because I'm actually left-handed, so yeah, right-handed people, you probably have to do the reverse. But essentially, you want to kind of place the hook nicely into the vise at a kind of 45-degree angle and just nip it up tight. Not overly tight, but just kind of tight enough so so that hook isn't going to slip as you file it down. Then take your file and maybe just try and kind of give you a better angle here. What I tend to do is I'll put the vise, I'll kind of rest it against my knee with the hook point kind of pointing away from me. I'll then take the file and just kind of using not a lot of pressure, but just kind of steady, consistent pressure, I'll just kind of run it up the hook 4 or 5 times just to check it. Okay, and already, I don't know if you can see that, how well it's going to pick up on the camera. Maybe not too well, but there's already kind of like a sheen on the front of that hook where we've taken some of that metal away. So, looking through the magnifying glass, looks like I could just do with a little bit more. Now, in terms of how much metal to take off, people often refer to kind of like taking off metal down to the barb. I kind of go just a little way past. It's you know, as long as you're kind of not getting towards the bend of the hook, you're absolutely fine. It's not quite sharp yet. Just checking it again. Okay, that is looking pretty good. So next thing I'll do is I'll take some off the kind of the side of the hook. If you imagine like either side of the hook, I'll take some off. Okay, and it really doesn't take much. I'll probably just kind of give it one neat stroke on either side. Again, checking with the microscope. That is pretty good. And then kind of people check it on the kind of the hand or on the nail. I kind of do things a little bit differently, so I'll kind of take my finger like that and I'll kind of come in at a more acute angle and check that the hook is kind of grabbing my nail at that more acute angle. I just find that that is better proof for me, I guess, that that hook is like really super sharp and it's gonna catch hold. So that is maybe just a fraction more. So one on the front, a little one on each side again. Checking it. Yep, that's looking pretty good. And that is now grabbing my nail every time. Okay, now a little bit of a tip, secret trick, I guess, that I sometimes do is, you know, people often focus when they're sharpening the hook on doing the tops and the sides, and sometimes kind of people do the 45-degree angle. Little tip, people often forget about sharpening the inside of the hook point, as daft as it sounds. Now, I wouldn't go across it with a file, I think you probably just take too much metal off. But what I will do is use a polishing stone on it. So very carefully, without kind of coming in at an angle, this is how best to kind of show you this. I will kind of run polishing stone just under that hook point. So that's terrible camera work, just there. So I'll just rub, almost like just rub the underside of the hook point. So just do that very quickly. And that just makes it even sharper. So a little trick for you there when you think about hook sharpening, and you kind of get into that stage where you're just polishing those kind of faces up with a polishing stone. Just don't forget that back edge of the point, and you'll find, hopefully, when you do that, you're going to get super sharp hooks. So, hope that's been informative and helpful. If you like this video, please kind of like and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully that's going to put some more fish on the bank for you. So, cheers.